still nothing new and original on the PSP. Fuck you people saying it's dead. It's alive. It's still getting new games in Japan, but in America, it's like everyone kicked it off the shelves. But anyway, you know what? You sick of all those shooters and shit. Well, okay, not to be anti-shooter, but, you know. The idea of this episode is to maybe start something kind of interesting that could, you know, keep going. So what's the idea? Well, as you might see in the title, which I'm still trying to debate, so I'm not going to say it here. Yeah. Basically, the idea of the show here is to point out bizarre, interesting games for you. And we're focusing on 5 for the PSP. So let's start off with a nice entry. This is 2 games in one, and it has a third game, which is only available on PSN, unless you import the physical version from Japan. That is, What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord? Do. Which you also get the first game by using a unlockable code that's on the back. Don't know how the hell that works. This game is bizarre. You're looking for something different? You're right up your alley. Basically, you are the Dark Lord. And you gotta help the, well, this poor bastard here, Badman, to stay alive from heroes traversing his dungeon. So you actually have to make a dungeon, fill it with monsters through an evolution chain, and use them to fight off the monster and protect Badman. This game is fucking on crack. It's very 16-bit-ish and very humorous dialogue. Highly recommended. It's really a shame we didn't get a physical version of the third game, which was published by Sony when all 3 were published in Sony in Japan, but our delightful, fun people at Disgaea gave us the first and second game. Oddly enough, this game also has a little bizarre history in America, because the title was a parody of, like, kind of the old Adam West Batman game, not games, but the show, where Robin would say, like, I can't remember how they put it, but basically DC actually threatened to sue him because of it, so they dropped it and had to retitle it. So, it was a little weird in that regard. That's definitely something to worth a look into, in my opinion. So next one is not exclusive to the PSP. So usually I do this stuff for like exclusiveness, but consider the rarity of its original release. This is probably a better alternative, because as far as I am aware, it is not rare, unlike its original release on the PS2. And that would be Gitaru Man, or as the PSP game is called, Gitaru Man Lives, which technically has more content than the PS2 version. It has additional songs in it, along with all its original content. This game has very bizarre art, story, and very zany music. It's an interesting take on the music genre. It's not anything like, you know, completely new thought process, but I've never seen a music game handle like this. Basically, you use the analog stick and you use it to basically you'll get like a path on the screen, and you have to hold the analog stick in that direction, and you have to hold certain buttons down, and basically you would play your guitar that way. So it's not incredibly difficult to understand, but I still never saw a music game quite like that. It's definitely worth a pickup for your PSP. Or if, I guess, you want to get the PS2 version, which the only thing I'm aware of, the PS2 version, if I never correctly had, was local co-op, where, well, co-op versus that, where the PSP version has to be done through connections of systems. So, yeah. Just a second, something's flashing on my... Anyway, next. This is one of my favorite PSP games. Comes highly recommended, and I was so sad we never got the sequel. And I've continuously tried to encourage, like, because there's been several times where they wanted to actually attempt to give it to us in some form, and the last one was on Steam. Nothing came of it. So that would be 30-second half-minute hero, or half-minute hero, or, you know, it kind of varies. It's usually just half-minute hero, but it does have the Thor in there, so I guess you could argue that. This game is fucking fantastic. You might be misled by the cover, because it has realistic art, but if you look in the corner there, you start seeing bit. This game is very, very 16-8-bit humor. It has multiple game modes, an overarching story plot, and the music. Oh, that fucking awesome theme. Na 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 na. I love the music. The game is silly, hilarious. If you love old Japanese RPGs, you owe it to yourself to play this game because it's fucking hilarious. It was published by Xseed for America, and it is just delightfully humorous, great, and it's simply. See, it has different modes. It has a simple RPG mode, which is the beginning and the end modes. It has a real-time strategy mode, a shoot 'em up mode, and then it has this kind of defender mode. So each one has its own storyline, and the final RPG mode has them all connect, and everything leads to the main villain. Now, they're all very simplistic and quick versions of what they are, like the RPG mode. Basically, in each mode, you have 30 seconds before the world ends, or something of that caliber in the other ones. But in the RPG mode, the world will end in 30 seconds because some dark lord is casting a spell that will cause the Armageddon 30 seconds of casting. In the other ones, there's a few different reasons, but overall, you usually just have a 30-second timer. You have to use a concept of reverting time backwards while still making progress to make headway in these games. In the last mode, there is no way to go backwards in time. You have to keep going forward on the limited time you have, and you only get small boosts for going forward and completing some of the side special bosses. You can also get additional time. But it's a very delightful and quick and good game to play that you can just pull out, play, and put away. It's perfect for that kind of situation, too. It's delightful fun. Now, this third one, fourth one, okay. I have not beaten this game, and I only got pretty recently, only in a few months. And I've always showed it off, and I've tried the recording thing of it with my webcam before I got my camcorder. And that would be Over My Dead Body. This Japanese RPG game deserves a lot more attention. It was getting a little attention when it got ported to the PSP. It was originally a PS1 title. Again, I'm cheating a little. This game is not very well known in the Western market. And I don't know why. It's such an interesting, awesome concept. Basically, imagine the kind of concept of Suikoden except it's in your family tree. Basically, you're running through generations of your family. And basically the problem is your family gets cursed by a great demon who killed your parents. And you can only live the span of 2 years, basically. So you have offspring, continue your family legion to have revenge against this demon and end this curse on your family. So you have to have new offspring take up the lead. Now, the gods have taken mercy upon your family and have actually, basically, you're having children with demigods. It's absolutely ludicrously weird, but the customization and everything, and the art style, oh my goodness, the art style. If you look at the PS1 version compared to the PSP version, it's opinion-ish. Like, the PS1 version had very classic Japanese art style, but the PSP version uses a cel-shaded look with that, where it has the painter brush kind of look to it. It's very awesome combination. I think it looks much better on the PSP. It's a very awesome game. If you don't mind it being in Japanese, I highly recommend this game. Or you could maybe try to get the PS1 version, which is also incredibly rare, so this would be an easier pickup for you again. This game, I'm enjoying the hell of it. I really would want to do a Let's Play, but I'm still trying to understand everything to do, because similar to Miyakuni and the DS, there's only so much resources to look up for it. So, finally, I have all 3 games of this franchise. One is Japanese because it was originally not going to be a physical version of it in America. And we did get one eventually. So that kind of pissed me off. But that is Patapon. Patapon 1, 2, and 3. 2 is the Japanese one. But this is a rhythm-based game where you have these little eyeball things, and they'll be equipped with swords and shields, spears and stuff, and bows, and you march them in the battle with a beat of a drum that you use the 4 face buttons to do, and you give them like rhythm commands like attack. You know, you got the attack drum song, and you got the defend, retreat, and stuff. You know, it's very simplistic and yet very interesting. And each one's introduced new things. Well, obviously the first one, like the third one introduced did like hero characters, really big defining hero characters. So it's a very interesting series and definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed it, but I've never finished the first game, so I never got to do a whole lot in the Italian franchise because I got stuck. You have to get the pattern down very well, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very rhythmic. But those are 5 PSP games that if you're looking for something bizarre, odd, and strange, that you should check out. I highly recommend any of them. They're all delightful, fun, and unique games. Now, like I said, the idea of this is to either pick a system or just pick a number of games that are bizarre and things that are interesting. I'm not really putting bad games on here, like, well, I mean, it's bad subjective, but what I mean is, like, I'm not going to put Quest 64 on here, even though I like Quest 64, but I also admit it's a bad game. I am talking about fun, interesting, but bizarre games that aren't exactly norm. And also underappreciated fun games is the idea. So I hope you like this, and I hope I can do some more for other stuff like the DS, the Xbox, the PS2, and you know, all that delightful stuff. If you have any bizarre, fun titles that you feel that weren't appreciated on the PSP, feel free to leave a comment. After all, nobody knows every great game in the universe, and you can always stumble on to more and more as time goes on. But those were just, for now, 5 that I think were unappreciated, fun, and bizarre titles. So next time, I'll probably pick some on the DS. No guarantees, though. Adios.